All right, and hello, all you out there in Sooner Nation. Well, it might not have been pretty, but the Sooner Schooner thing that pulls the horses out, they squeak by the Mountain Man of West Virginia with a final score last night of our Oklahoma Sooners 16 to WVU's 7 points in the game last night in Norman. A lot different from last year's 50-49 win in Morgantown, but you lost a lot of offense there, and to say that you could tell just by even the score, it's you could even tell just by the way that the game was played. It was an ugly game on both sides. 4 turnovers for Oklahoma and West Virginia in this one. The stats of the game look like this. Our quarterback, Trevor Knight, did have finally over 100 yards passing in the air. He had a $119 overall, a touchdown, and 2 of those turnovers we mentioned were interceptions. So he had 119, a touchdown, and 2 picks. Paul Millard had 218 yards, 0 touchdowns, and an interception on his side of the quarterback stats. On the running back stats, the hero from Bedlam a couple of years ago stepped it up again in another conference game, with Brennan Clay having 22 pops for a $170 and 0 touchdowns in this ball game. What a night for him. And he is now officially with 170. He only needed 1 yard last night to get over 1,000 yards for his career at Oklahoma. He easily did that and some with a $170 on the night. Charles Sims, the not junior college transfer, but the transfer from Houston, who played for Dana Holgerson a little bit out there. He's now at West Virginia as an automatic transfer. He had the ball 11 times for 57 yards and no touchdowns in the ball game last night. The wide receivers for the Oklahoma Sooners and company last night, the leading man out there was, again, Jalen Saunders, last year's transfer from Fresno State. This time he had 4 catches, 60 yards, and he did not have that touchdown pass thrown by Trevor Knight, so he didn't have a touchdown pass. On the other side, speaking of not having a touchdown pass, neither did Kevin White, the wide receiver from West Virginia. But he did have 7 carries and 80 yards on the night. The defensive stats look like this for Oklahoma. Oklahoma. The man out of T-Town. Tulsa. That's your big man defensively. Gabe Lynn. He had 3 total tackles on his side of the field. A couple of pass breakups too there, by the way. He did recover the fumble, and he had one interception of Millard last night. On the other side, Darwin Cook had a good game also. He had 11 tackles. However, he did not have any fumble recoveries, but he did have 1 of the 2 picks thrown by Trevor Knight. Kicking game, again, in favor of Oklahoma. Michael Honeycutt, 3 for 4 on the night for him. Field goals of 32, 21, and a long of 44 on the night for the Sooners. Michael Honeycutt. Josh Lambert was the other field goal kicker, and with West Virginia only having 7 points, obviously he did not kick a field goal. Special teams, Jed Barnett played well for the Sooners last night. He had 5 punts, an average of 44.6 yards an average, a long of 50 yards, and 3 of the footballs were inside the 20-yard line. As far as O'Toole's concerned, he had 7 attempts. He had 55.3 in average. 54 was his long, and 3 of his punts were within the 20-yard line. So that's your stats on the night. What about the highlights, or the lowlights, if you will, of this ballgame? Well, it all started when Demarius Smith gets the one and only touchdown for West Virginia, a 75-yard touchdown run with 8:54 left in the first quarter to push West Virginia 7-0 in favor of West Virginia. After that, Michael Honeycutt comes back with an answer of that long field goal we were just talking about of 44 yards with 4:22 left in the first quarter. Sooners trail now 7-3, but are on the scoreboard with that play. Jump with me to the second quarter of this ballgame. 13:55 left. And Trey Millard and Trevor Knight hook up for a 1-yard touchdown Sooners. So now it's 7-10 Sooners with 13:35 left, and the Sooners have the lead. The Sooners add to that lead with another Honeycutt field goal of 21 yards with just 11 seconds left in the half. In the second quarter, I'm sorry. 13-7 now. Oklahoma in favor of OU, obviously. In the third quarter, the final score of the game went again to Michael Honeycutt, a 32-yard field goal with 10:16 left in the third quarter. It is now 16-7 Sooners, and